Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 21st of January 2019, so welcome everyone, welcome to this Monday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few charts, the usual stuff. So I hope you're all feeling relaxed and energized after the weekend. So yep guys, before we start jumping into the charts, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay guys, so now then let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is gold. Now looking at gold here, you can see that last week on Friday we finally got our breakthrough and gold managed to rush down here to towards these lower levels, and of course now what we're going to be looking at, of course, further declines to the downside. We do have this very short-term upside support line taken from the lows of the 28th of November. So this is going to be our first potential target here. Certainly just slightly above that, we do have this good area of potential support near the 1279.50 level, something like that, approximately there. That was marked here near the lows of the 8th of January. So in a way, keep your eyes on that one. So this could be that nice gateway towards this for a retest of this upside support line, the short-term upside support line that I just mentioned. So first, of course, we will target the 1279.50. A nice good break below that could lead towards this retest that I'm just talking about, I've just mentioned. So of course, this is where we should remain a little bit cautious, because if the selling momentum is going to remain strong, we could in a way see a break of this tentative upside support line, this very short-term tentative upside support line, and of course this is when we will target the next potential area and the next potential upside line, which is this one. Let me just quickly adjust that just to kind of capture the lows here. So this is another tentative possible one to watch out for, but of course slightly above that we do have the 1266 level that I've kind of mentioned in in many of my previous videos where I've discussed gold. So this 1266 kind of in a way played out as a nice area of resistance here back in July 2018. Certainly we saw this one getting tested again. It acted as good resistance again on the 20th of December, and also acted as good support here back on the 26th of December. So that's what I'm saying. So guys, of course, keep an eye on this 1266 level, but only if we're going to get a drop here below this tentative very short-term upside support line here taken from the lows of the 28th of November. So for now, of course, this morning we're seeing a bit of retracement here to the upside. Of course, it's currently stuck here near the 100 EMA, so shown here as the green line. This continues to travel a little bit further up here above this 100 EMA, then of course keep your eyes on the pivot, on today's pivot, which is near the 1280, let's round it up towards the 8085 zone. So a nice good pop above this could drag this further up here, and of course if this starts getting above the 1287 level, this is where probably the bear should become a little bit more on the cautious side, and we could maybe see a further acceleration to the upside. But then again, guys, for now, probably let's take it slow. Let's see what he wants to do first if it wants to travel here higher, what it wants to do here with this pivot. If it wants to break above it, then yep, we will target slightly higher levels here, like I said, the 1287, or even actually going all the way back here towards the R1, which is around the 1289. So this is, of course, this is a review here for today. Just keep an eye on it. If it gets to this point right here above the 1287, this is where we're going to be a little bit more on the neutral side, and because for us to kind of start looking at this one, looking at the much higher levels in the near term or in the longer term, we need to see a nice good pop above the 1295 zone, and then we'll aim for higher levels. But for now guys, until we're trading here, until we're trading below the pivot, it seems to be more to the downside rather than the upside. And but again, be very cautious, wait for a nice good break below the 1279.50, and then we will target this upside support line, and then we'll take it from there, guys. Jumping into another index here, or I wouldn't say another index, but just an index here. So DXY, now this is a very interesting one, and I was looking at this one last week, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on these lines here. So the very short-term upside support line taken from the low of January here, which kind of continues to remain intact. So it also kind of shows the direction here where this index is traveling. Last week we were trading still below this downside, this other short-term downside resistance line. So we're trading below that, and you can see that on Friday we managed to pop above it and rushed to the upside. So now we're seeing a bit of retracement here back down. So certainly even though we are trading not far from this, we're actually already testing this downside resistance line from above. Be very cautious, guys, on this one, because if this continues to hold, we could see this one reversing back up and pushing higher. Certainly if this continues to hold, this downside resistance line will remain kind of intact, or even actually even better, guys, to be honest and be on the safe side, just to keep on monitoring this upside support line here. If this even if it drops here below this downside resistance line, still it could rebound and push back up here. So in a way, long story short, guys, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could in a way remain a little bit neutral here on this and around this area where it's trading right now, and keep a close eye on the 96.40 level. This could be that gateway towards higher levels. A nice good break above that could push this index further up here. Of course, initially we will target the 96, or should I say 97, let's round it up, the 97 level, and then we'll target the area slightly above that, the 97.10, so approximately there, guys. So but first, of course, we need to see this nice good pop above the 96.40. On the downside, well, as you probably understood now, so we need to see this drop here below this short-term upside support line, and also for better confirmation we would need to see a nice good drop below the 96 level. So if we do get something like this, if we do get a drop below the 96 level, then, well, brace yourselves, we could see further declines here, and this is when we will aim for the 95.75 or even lower. But for now, guys, as long as it remains above this short-term upside support line, we will target higher levels. But then again, like I said, remains somewhat on the more on the cautiously bullish side. So yeah, guys, keep an eye on this one. Jumping into Ethereum, now this is very interesting here. I mean, certainly having its decline, but you can see that it's currently kind of finding good support near this area around the 112.50 level. So maybe just slightly above that, but nevertheless above that level. So this is going to be our level to watch, this key area of support that we're going to keep on monitoring, because if this decides to drop below this, certainly this is opening the path towards much lower levels. This is where we will aim for the 105 level, or even actually going to go all the way here towards the 96.50, so basically below the psychological 100 level. As also just slightly above that, we do have this little low here near the which was marked by the low of the 19th of December. So this area around the 98.20 zone, something like that. So also could be this little potential area of support. But for now, of course, the main question here is this going to remain above the 112.50, or actually this is going to be be that we're going to see that break here and a further decline down. Certainly for now we're going to remain somewhat on the neutral side, and we're going to continue monitoring these key areas of support and resistance. And on the upside here, if this suddenly decides to drive back above the 118 level, let me just quickly adjust this, just put it here, guys. So the 118 also coincides here with this pivot for today, and this is where we're gonna aim for a little bit higher levels. Of course, a nice good push above the 118 level could drag this price towards the 125.50, or even a little bit higher towards this little area of potential resistance near the 132 zone, which was marked near the highs of the 14th of January. So for now, guys, long story short, keep an eye on the 118 level on the upside, and on the downside, of course, is the 112.50 approximately there. And let's see how this plays out. But for now, we're just going to remain somewhat more on the neutral side, because like I said, it's kind of stuck here right now and it's not really moving much. Jumping into USDCAD, so a few pairs now. So of course, last week we were covering this one, and on Friday I was talking about this one, basically to keep an eye on it, because we are still trading within this little range here between the 132.30 on the downside and on the upside the 133 level. So these are going to be our breaking points. If, for example, if this decides to travel further up here and decides to break above the 133 level, certainly, as you probably understand, that this could be opening the path towards much higher levels. Initially, we will aim for the 200 EMA here shown as the black line, but then we'll target the 133.70 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. Could be a nice potential, good potential target here. This 133.70 level was marked here by the highs of the 7th of January. But again, before we start, before we can consider a possible move higher, we need to see this nice good break above the 133 level. On the downside, as I said, the 132.30, this is what we're going to be keeping a close eye on. A nice good drop below this could send this pair towards the lows that we saw here back in the beginning of January here, and this is going to be the first good potential area of support. Could be seen around the 130-180 zone. So you can see that it kind of held the rate from dropping lower twice here in January. So if this pair decides to drop below the 132.30, we could end up testing that area again, the 130-180 that I'm talking about. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. Very interesting one. Certainly, like I said, it is building up a nice potential position here, but again, don't forget to have your stop loss in place. I can't really stress that even more, how important that is. So always have your stop loss in place, guys. Jumping into your Euro USD. Now, this one is a very tricky one, because if we look at a daily chart on this one, guys, so certainly last week we were having a strong decline. The pair managed to drop below this, in a way, tentative upside support line here, but kind of never reached this main one here, the one that connects these two lows as well. So if we jump back into the 4-hour chart, we're seeing this retracement already today back to the upside. Of course, we're gonna remain cautious on this one, because for us, let's say, to start looking at much higher levels on this one, we would need to see a nice good push above the 114.25, and I do understand it's quite far away from where it is right now, but to be honest, to be better safe than sorry. Also, for those who are very short, for those short-term traders, you could in a way keep your eyes on this little potential area of resistance, which is around the psychological probably it's not very psychological, but a nice good round number, a nice good number in general, the 114 level. So basically, a nice good pop above this could send this this pair a little bit higher. But to be honest, like I said, even if it's going to travel a little bit higher, it could always reverse somewhere around here, around its 200 EMA, and then push back down. So that's why I'm saying, so keep an eye on the 114.25 level, just to be on the safe side, because also if you look at this 4-hour chart, the rate would also get placed above all these EMAs, and this would be a little bit of more of a bullish indication, let's put it that way. So, and then we will target much higher levels. Certainly we'll aim for the 114.85 or even higher towards the 115 level itself. So for now, guys, for now, be very careful. Yes, we are trading above this in a way tentative upside support line right now. Certainly this is adding a bit more bullishness to the whole short-term outlook, but again, if suddenly this reverses back down and drops below this line, well, I mean, we could end up testing this other support line here, the one that kind of connects these lows, the lows that we're seeing back on the 14th of December and back on the 2nd of January. So and then of course we'll take it from there, because if it continues to hold, we could see a nice strong rebound, a push back up here, but if this decides to drop below this and travels below the 113.40 level, then yep, further declines could be possible. But for now, guys, from the very short-term perspective, keep an eye on the 114 level on the upside here, and on the downside, well, keep an eye on this upside, this kind of tentative upside support line. That's kind of it was violated a few times, but nevertheless, you can see that it still is in play, and the pair already got back above it. So yep, if this decides to reverse back down below this line, then we will target this other slightly better, slightly stronger, more valuable upside support line, short-term upside support line, of course. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful, and if you want to join me later on in my Traders Tea Time, and that's 14:15 GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a fantastic trading day, guys. Be safe, be careful, and bye-bye.